I'm Dee.
And I'm Chelsea.
And this is Postpartum Uncut. This is the safe space to talk about all the things that happen after you have a baby, whether they're cute or not so cute. Today, we're talking about the postpartum care. So, how to take care of your body after you give birth and what all that actually entails. We've got two different examples. So, one of us had an emergency C-section. The other one of us got induced and had vaginal delivery. So we've got a couple of things to talk about that spawns from all of those things, right? So let's talk about you first.
So I had the C-section. So definitely with that, you have your sutures, like the little strips that kind of, well, mine did anyway. You have like the little strips that kind of line the wound and keep it together while it heals. I want to say that was maybe like 2 or 3 weeks. I had 3 weeks. And you just naturally let them fall off or get loose as they will, because they come off on their own. And I could shower with them. I just couldn't rub the area or like directly put soap on it, like where they wanted me to just leave it alone. The water could fall on it and do what it do, and that's kind of it. No strenuous activities like working out, lifting, anything heavier than my baby, like nothing like that, because the wound, or shall I say the incision, needs time to set and heal. You don't want it to pull apart or open back up or do anything like that.
So let's backtrack real quick. For anybody that does not know, a C-section means cesarean section. So they take the baby out via cutting the mom open in the abdominals and pulling the baby out that way. Yeah. So the incision goes where?
So, like, if this is your, like, vagina. Like, the incision is kind of, like, right here.
Right.
And, I mean, that's where they try to do. Like, back in the day, if you've seen, like, older ladies, like, they actually have, like, the cut.
Like, I would say I've seen the...
But I don't know. I haven't done enough research to know, like, if that's just, like, an old school method or that's, like, you have a different type of situation, type of cut. I don't know.
It might vary on situation, too, because I feel like the other C-section scar that I saw was, like, this little line right here. But when they, like, sewed it back up, you low-key couldn't even tell anything was there. I was like, that was really good, nice and clean.
Because they call what I got, like, the bikini cut, where you could still wear a bikini and you don't see. And I've been to beaches and stuff since I've had her. You can't tell I had a C-section. Now I can't wear like a little micro bikini that's only covering this much cooch, because then you're gonna see it. But I think my incision healed really well. You know it's an incision, but it's not like super dark or like wrinkled up. Like it just looks like a scar. I just think the biggest thing is just following what they say as far as restricting your lifting and all of that, because you think you're good and then no, you've messed up the incision or done something where now you have to go back and they have to fix it.
Like any surgery or any procedure, you really do have to like sit down. Sit down. I remember like how annoyed I was. Remember when I broke my ankle and I had to sit still. So I could not imagine sitting still for it's 8 weeks recovery usually, right? And that's just assuming nothing else is wrong.
Right. Yeah, so that was rough. And then, they have like ice packs and stuff like that because I had like an abdominal binder that they gave me for pain, like to kind of hold it together.
To what?
Hold it together. And then like they had like this little ice pack thing that they gave me too that helped kind of with the swelling down there. But yeah. And then like I kind of mentioned in one of the previous episodes, at least maybe it's just my thought process. I'm in my head, I always was like, okay, I'm not literally pushing anybody's head, shoulders out of me. I'm not getting ripped in my vagina. Like none of that stuff. So I really shouldn't be bleeding like that. But no, like it was like a full blown like period. Like I was literally
Mm,
having to change pads like around the clock, and I was like, oh, and they're like, well, that's normal. Just don't pass any big clots, this, that, and the third.
yeah.
And I was like,
See, that's the cool thing that we wouldn't have known. That's something that's in common with both deliveries because that was like a big thing when I would go to the bathroom. They'd
mm-hmm,
be like, just let us know if it's a big clot. And I'm looking at them like, you know how my periods
mm-hmm,
are. So I had to ask quite frequently about multiple things. Like, what do you mean?
mm-hmm.
What's big?
So, what was your postpartum care regimen once you got home?
So the cool thing about vaginal is when you're out of the hospital, you're not as restricted. And I am a busybody, so I probably did do more than I was supposed to. I had to get told to sit down a couple of times. But like to me, that's also just me having gratitude. I'm like, well, I can move. I should move.
Mm-hmm,
I have the ability. I should move.
mm-hmm,
No, 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 girl, sit down. I say that because I kind of regret not taking more moments of rest. That's all. Because when transitions happen later and when like those days where you are missing sleep and those days where teething comes in or your kid has an unpredictable stomach issue or something. I don't know, but it'd be stuff that just come out of nowhere, and I wish that I would have at least taken a couple of moments to just not do anything.
mm-hmm,
I'm also realizing though that I think that that was part of working until I gave birth because
mm-hmm,
you don't get to like put that in your brain.
mm-hmm.
Sit down. You don't tell yourself that. You still going like in a
Mm-hmm.
completely different mode.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I like did not give myself that downtime to really like sit with myself. So sitting was uncomfortable because it's like, what do I do here? Is this, I had to work through some things, So there's a lot of stuff that came up from that. But I took a lot of warm baths, which was part of my recovery, which was how I took care of myself while I was pregnant as well. They don't advise you to do a lot of hot baths. I know what I do. I know what I like.
Mm-hmm.
I have a nice warm bath. And it helps. It helped me. It helped me with nausea. It helped me with muscle relaxation. It makes me feel better. My body responds very well to baths. Plus, I was trying to, it wasn't about snapback. It was about snapback down there. So I was very adamant about taking good care of her. Cause one, I just don't break her. I want her to work right. But then also just because I don't want to feel like it's too altered. You be rejecting some of the things from motherhood. I'm like, dang, did it just split me wide open here? But I didn't actually have a lot of tearing. But that is something that's a reality is when you deliver vaginally, you can have that tearing and you have to make decisions about how you want to handle that too. And that was part of the thing about the little sheet at the hospital. And they're like, how do you want to go about this? And I'm like, I mean, yeah, obviously I don't want to have to get sewn up, but if you have to, then do it. Like the
Yeah.
way they phrase these questions. And my doctor was like, people just want to have control. So this is us giving them the control. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, you know how I think. We developed my birth plan in this way. Like, do what makes sense. There you go. Keep my baby alive. Don't put me in unnecessary discomfort. And that's one thing I feel like me and him are just always like this on. So shout out to my doctor for that. Like I started learning about you talked about a diaper station.
Mm-hmm.
There's also the bathroom stations that have like it's like you come up with your own kit and it's all your disposable underwear or diapers or however you're doing that. I had some really cool like boy short disposable underwear that I liked. I did wear a pad on them though because I did not feel like they were absorbent enough in my opinion, but they were great for like extra leakage. So plus I didn't want to wear regular underwear anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so like I didn't bleed as much as I thought I would, but there's this whole like taco sub stack situation that you do with your underwear when you give birth vaginally, and it involves like tux pads. There's a bunch of little circular pads, just like any cosmetic pad that we use for anything else, right? It's witch hazel and some like cooling element. But you basically take like a big mattress sized pad and you lay the tux pads on there, and then that's how you put on your underwear. Um, I will say that I did use that system quite often. That was great. I personally think the witch hazel just helps the healing a lot. And then I know a couple of people that recommended Dermaplast to me, which is a spray that you can use for minor burns and cuts. I didn't have to use that. I just was very gentle the first 6 weeks. Like I kept it, I just followed directions of my doctor. The best way that I can, because we know that I don't necessarily follow rules well. But when I say that I like took my wiggle room was like getting on my walking pad without permission, because he already told me I could stay active being pregnant because he knows that I'm active. So he's like, it's unrealistic for you to not move. He's like, you should move. So there were just some things that I just listened to myself and knew my body, but I didn't overdo it, if that makes sense. So like my bath was warm. It wasn't scalding, but it was warm. It was steamy. I didn't put like essential oils or anything. I didn't feel like that was necessary. And y'all know I'm like halfway to a hippie. When I say like I try to keep it as natural as possible, I just think that's the best way. And sitting down, sit down. You don't want to be like lifting, like doing too much, especially if you have a lot of tearing and you have stitches. Just enjoy the 6 weeks off at least.
Sit down.
Sit down.
Another thing that we definitely need to bring up, and it's pretty much the same across the board, is sex.
Like, when can we do it again?
Yeah. I did wait the full amount, just because I'm like, I don't mess anything up down there. I do want to have a kid one day. But I have heard several women say like they waited.
They said bump them rules.
3 weeks. I'm like,
no, the first baby, absolutely not.
Yeah, no. People was like, well, when I started bleeding, I was good. And I was like, well, how did that work out for you? Like, because that would have scared me.
I stopped bleeding pretty early, I feel like, but first of all, I had no desire to do. You ain't about to look down. Now the funny part is that we ain't have that weirdness in the room. He actually did look at the baby coming out. He saw the placenta. He saw all the things. Like, he was a thug. He handled that well. I did not think he was gonna handle that well. He handled that well.
Nice.
Just me as a woman. Like, I'm cocky about my stuff, okay? So I'm like, no, you ain't like, no. And I think I actually waited a little bit longer than 6 weeks because it was nearing up on our anniversary too. So I was just kind of like, you can wait on longer? Like,
it was funny though, because my birthday was like,
it
was like 2 weeks after I had her, and I was like, it's no fun for me. Not in that way, because I was like,
well, and then like just the other types of fun too, right? Like, you can't even like cuddle the same. You can't do some of the same things. I feel like with a C-section, you got to alter a lot of things. Like, you got to manipulate and maneuver around.
He always used to laugh at me because he'd be trying to tickle me, and I'm like, my incision. Like, I used to say that to him because he'll come up behind me, tickle. That was my incision.
You gonna have me bust stitches now? You better chill.
For real. He used to mock me, my incision. I was like, yeah.
Like, it's not funny, but it's pretty funny to hear, just to be thinking about the things that you would never think that you'd be yelling out loud or something like that. I will say, like, too, we shouted out the dads quite often on the channel, but like, we have to shout out the dads for putting up with us with our postpartum care, because like, no, for real, like they have to navigate the newborn and the new mom, because like, okay, if you go into a pregnancy in a relationship, you don't intend on doing it alone, and sometimes that changes. You don't intend on it coming between you and your partner, and sometimes that happens because people change. When I had my baby, I was not the same person. I was not the same woman. I am a whole different version of myself. And like I have to come to terms with that. And then he has to come to terms with that. And then hopefully we like what we see on the other side, right? But that's why communication was so important, because I need to tell him that things are changing. I don't know how to describe them. I don't know how to explain them sometimes. I just know I feel weird. I just know I want to cry. I just know that I hate life right now. I don't know, whatever the truth is, but I had to keep it a buck with him because there was constant evolving on top of don't break the baby and don't break the mom either. Like,
I think it's like both sides. You both have to like deal with the other party changing.
Yeah,
or
for sure.
And I don't even want to just say changing, because that may be not the word that everybody. Because I don't feel like I changed, but I do feel like, pregnancy and different things bring different things out of you at different times.
For sure, for sure.
And you definitely have to be prepared to accept your partner where they're at that particular time because of whatever they're going through.
Right.
And even with the man, like you can tell when they're stressed or pressed or like trying to figure something out. So it's like you have to kind of roll with their mentality at the time, or however they're kind of like displaying their feelings. So it's not just the dad dealing with the mom, because we have to deal with the dad and the changes that they're going through as well.
The reminder that the dads are in that postpartum, they have their own postpartum experiences. It's a humbling reality, because in the midst of having your moment, like there would be a moment sometimes where I would be the person, girl, I've been at home with this baby all day, and this man taking forever and a day to take his shower and come get this baby. Like I would be that person one day, but like I check myself immediately after being frustrated and being like, okay, but he went to work. Lord only knows what that day was like for him. And then to be Black in America, whatever that day was like for him. And then to stress about, do I need to go pick up groceries before I come home? And what are we going to eat for dinner? And so he really like don't even get to chill until he get home. And then here I am mad because he won't get home and dad. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
It's a transition.
You really have to work around each other, and you have to set some boundaries too. He had to set boundaries with me. Like I can't call him when he on the way home from work, because he has to think about himself. He has to take time for himself to decompress. The same way that I have to say, it is my bath time. Bye-bye. Like, but that's on us to make sure we uphold our own boundaries.
Yeah, also two people can't read your mind, so it's like you kind of need to at least state something one time for the one time, so you can be like, no. Right. I said I needed this. This is something that I need. Right. Not just want, need, and just kind of really just express that like that, because like closed mouths don't get fed. So,
and especially with everybody, like not just your partner, the child's father or whoever, it's everybody that's around you. It's going to be hard and it's going to be uncomfortable. And sometimes you may not know how to verbalize how you're feeling, but just, you're going to have to communicate it. Like, y'all, it's a weird day. It's a weird day. I don't want to be bothered. And I feel like women really do get that when you finally like say it. It's just hard to find the words sometimes. But that is a big part of also taking care of yourself postpartum. That's a big part. Well, in the comments, let's talk about one of the biggest thing that you needed to do for your postpartum care. What was a big deal? What was something that you discovered was necessary to your aftercare? Drop that in the comments and let us know. I'm really interested to hear from the OGs on a lot of these topics too, because I really want to see like how much time has changed or hasn't. And if there's some things that certain generations didn't really touch on because of the time and how taboo talking about things was,
Right.
I really want to know. So leave your comments and then tune in with us next week when we hit our next topic. We'll see you guys next time.
See you later.
Bye.